If you drink coffee every day and you're still struggling with stubborn fat, there's a good chance it's because of how you're drinking it. I'm not talking about what you put in your cup. I'm talking about when you drink it, how much you drink, and even how you brew it. These are small habits that most people never think about, and they can cancel out coffee's fat burning power and keep your body stuck in storage mode. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 simple coffee hacks for burning fat, starting with the basics and then building up to the most powerful ones at the end. And that last hack is on a completely different level. It can nearly double your fat burning results from coffee alone. So you don't want to miss that one. Hack number 1, roast level. Most people think the darker a coffee is and the darker it's roasted, the worse that it is for fat loss. But what the research shows, something very surprising. Light roasts preserve much more of a compound called chlorogenic acid, helps with fat loss in a few important ways. It slows down how quickly your body absorbs carbohydrates from food. That keeps blood sugar from rising too quickly after a meal. It also improves insulin sensitivity, which helps your cells handle sugar more effectively, more efficiently, instead of converting it into body fat. But roasting the beans darker changes the chemistry in another direction. It's true that during a dark roasting, much of the chlorogenic acid is destroyed. However, the roasting process creates a completely different compound called N-methylpyridinium, or NMB. This compound doesn't exist in lightly roasted beans, and it only forms during higher roasting temperatures. And according to research, it helps your body lose weight by changing your metabolism after coffee is consumed. So dark roast has its advantage as well, shows the research. So for me, as a summary, it makes the medium roast the most practical option. You preserve some of the chlorogenic acid while still developing some NMB during roasting. You get the best of both worlds. That said, regardless of the roast level, make sure you start with high quality beans whenever possible. This is more important than the roast and the taste you may prefer. Organic, if you can get it, I think is a must. Shade grown would be the tier down from that, keeping in mind that organic is shade grown, and that means you've got trees protecting the coffee as opposed to clear cut. So then you have to use way more herbicides or pesticides to keep the bugs from eating the coffee and ruining the crop. We want it tested for mold, those pesticides, so then it gives you the cleanest cup and the best for fat loss benefits. So medium roast, if you're wondering which one I believe to be the best, all spectrums have their advantages. Quality in your cup is the most important thing. Let's go to hack number 2 on the dose of coffee. Now this next hack is one that almost everyone gets wrong. You'd probably assume that more coffee means more fat burning. And to a point, you'd be right. Fat burning from coffee scales up like a ladder. 1 cup a day, you get roughly a 10% boost in fat burning. 2 cups bumps you up to about 20%. 3 cups hits around 25, and at 4 cups is where things peak at roughly 30%. But past 4 cups, the benefits completely flatline, and then the downsides start climbing very quickly. Jitters, elevated cortisol, disrupted sleep, all of which actually promote fat storage instead of fat burning. Now, here's the really important part that trips people up. Most people dramatically underestimate how much coffee they're actually drinking. I could be guilty of this sometimes. You got a good sized mug. A standard cup is 8 ounces. That would be up to about the white line here. That's about the size of a small diner coffee, or roughly 2/3 of a soda can. So my mug is over twice the size, but I would probably only want to fill it to the white line. But most people pour 12 to 16 ounces into their mug and then call it 1 cup, which means your 1 cup could actually count as 2. So that big travel mug that you fill up in the morning could easily be getting you 2 full servings. So if I have 1 of these and then I throw my travel mug in, I know I've got my 4 cups, which means you might already be at your fat burning ceiling pretty quickly before lunchtime without even realizing it. But the sweet spot for maximum fat burning is 2 to 4 standard 8-ounce cups per day, which comes out to be about 200 to 450 milligrams of caffeine. That's the target to maximize in the research. When you studied the boost to the metabolism, it peaks 4 cups. Let's go to number 3. Now, you're in that sweet spot and you'd think that you are all set at that point, but there's one thing preventing caffeine from delivering its full fat burning effect. And that's the fact that your body builds a tolerance surprisingly fast. And when I say fast, I mean within a few days of consistent use of coffee, you start to get a tolerance built up. The first cup you ever drank might have boosted your fat burning by close to 30%. But after a couple of weeks of drinking the same amount every single day, that same cup might only give you a 10% boost. What I'm saying is that it loses that big fat burning boost over time, but you still get one because you build up a tolerance. What's happening is your brain is literally growing more adenosine receptors to fight back against the caffeine. Adenosine is a chemical that makes you feel tired, and caffeine works by blocking those receptors, so the tiredness signals can't get through. But when your brain senses caffeine showing up every day, it builds more of those receptors to compensate. So over time, the same dose of caffeine has less and less impact on both your energy and your fat burning. The good news is that your body resets faster than you'd think. Research shows that just 4 days completely off caffeine is enough to largely restore the full fat burning response when you bring it back. Meaning, if you wanted to go off of caffeine for a few days, just 4, when you start it back up again, you will be maximizing your fat burning to give your body a little boost. Maybe you're in a bit of a plateau. I haven't done this for a couple of years. I don't think it's a bad thing for everyone to cycle off for a few days. The issue is if you have a tolerance built up, you will experience some headaches when you come down off of that caffeine. But when you start it back up again, you maximize fat burning for a period of time. You could also do a 14-day reset if you want a maximum effect, but you don't have to go that extreme. A practical middle ground is going caffeine-free 1 to 2 days per week. If you're really focusing on maximizing weight loss, just skipping a day of caffeine gets you more out of your coffee the next day when you add it back in, or taking a few days off each month, maybe when you're fasting. I highly encourage my followers and those that participate in our challenges to take 1 week where you're doing 1 or 2 or 3 days of fasting. Maybe you cut out some caffeine during that period, and then you would kickstart all of those amazing fat loss benefits after. Even just cutting from 4 cups down to 2 for just a week can help prevent full tolerance from building. Okay, now we're getting into the really powerful hacks. And this next one challenges a habit that almost every coffee drinker has. If you're like most people, the first thing you do when your alarm goes off, you head straight for the coffee maker. And that feels right because you're tired and then the coffee wakes you up. But that instinct is actually working against fat burning. That's because within the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking, your body pumps out the highest levels of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your natural wake-up hormone. It's what gives you alertness, mobilizes energy first thing in the morning, completely on its own without any caffeine. When you add caffeine on top of that natural cortisol peak, you create what's basically a double spike. That double spike can disrupt insulin signaling, which makes your body more likely to store fat instead of burn it. It also causes jitteriness, and it can lead to an energy crash in the afternoon, later in the day, which will make you reach for more coffee or more sugar. So the smarter approach that I always try to do is to wait about 90 minutes after you wake up before your first cup. By that point, cortisol has naturally risen and then declined. And then caffeine fills the gap instead of piling on top of it. As a result, you'll have that smooth energy for the morning, and your insulin stays more sensitive, and you stay in that extended overnight fat burning state longer because you haven't spiked cortisol even higher. That's why I love coffee as a breakfast alternative in the morning post workout, 90 minutes after I woke up, to carry me all the way to lunch with smooth energy, maximizing my fasting time from the night before. For people over 50, this matters even more because the body becomes more sensitive to cortisol swings as you age. And those swings are directly linked to belly fat storage. So if you wake up at 6 a.m., your first cup should land around 7:30 to 8. I recommend drinking water or lemon water while you wait. That should be the first thing you go to in the morning. Rehydrate those cells. It sounds hard for the first few days, but most people tell me that once they get used to it, they actually feel better all day long. And by the way, that timing lines up perfectly with the last hack, which is the most powerful one in this entire video. This is the hack that I told you about at the beginning, and it's the single biggest fat burning multiplier that you can apply to your coffee. When you drink coffee, caffeine signals your fat cells to release stored fat into your bloodstream. That sounds incredible. And one study showed that drinking coffee in a fasted state boosted fat release by as much as 44%. But here's the catch that almost no one talks about. Nearly 75% of that released fat never actually gets burnt. It gets pulled out of your fat cells, floats around in your bloodstream for a little while, and then gets tucked right back into storage. However, that completely changes when you add exercise to the equation. When your muscles start demanding fuel, they grab the fat that coffee freed up and actually burn it off for energy. Researchers at the University of Granada tested this and found that drinking coffee 30 minutes before aerobic exercise increased maximum fat burning by up to 29%. And it works whether you exercise in the morning or in the afternoon. Now think back to the hack I just showed you about delaying your first cup 90 minutes. If you wake up at 6 and wait till 7:30 to drink your coffee, you could start exercising around 8. I know that's not going to fit everyone's schedule, but you could really maximize it at that point. So there is a couple of days a week where I can delay my workout and have some coffee. So I wake up, maybe some reading time, some Bible time, some lemon water, some water, hang out for a bit, have some coffee, and then hit a workout. And I can significantly feel the difference of what's going on in the system. It's combining two of the most powerful hacks in this video at the same time. And this doesn't require intense exercise, even a walk for 30 minutes. The key is that your muscles are active and demanding fuel while all that freed up fat is floating around in your bloodstream, ready to be burnt. So you may try that out. Now, everything in this video was about how you drink your coffee, the timing, the dose, the routine, but there's actually a whole other side to this, which is what you put in your coffee. The right additions can actually multiply coffee's fat burning effect by as much as 600%, and the wrong ones can cancel it out completely. So in my other video, I show you the 6 best additions to upgrade your coffee's fat burning power, starting at level 1 and then building up to the most powerful option at level 6. I'll include a link to that video here. Click it to watch it next, and I'll see you there.